What have I been reading recently? Stay tuned and find out. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Zach with Zacks Books, and today I've got for you a recent reads. So, I've read 3 books recently, and I'm going to share them with you. If you're intrigued with any 3 of these books, we will link them down below. Also, don't forget to check out our Instagrams. We'll have all of them linked down below. We did just start one for our podcast channel, which stay tuned for the podcast to start up. Should be within the next 2 weeks, I think. Episode 1 should be out soon. So, it's been a fun process with that, actually. We were going to start a podcast before we did a booktube channel, but we decided to go with this instead. It was just more convenient for us. But now we started a podcast, and it's called Books and Stuff, which you'll see in the Instagram down below. We also both have got a giveaway going on right now on both of our Instagrams. Find out how you can enter those on both of our Instagrams. Again, link down below. Otherwise, if you like stuff like this, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get to some books. First book I'm going to talk about is Every Value Break by Peter Swanson. I have read one book by him, and it was The Kind Worth Killing. I actually read that in a reading vlog with 2 other books. I think it was The Silent Patient and Behind Her Eyes. If you have not checked out that video, check it out up here. It was reading 3 thriller books with huge twists in them. And I really did enjoy all 3 of those books. I think I gave Peter Swanson's like 4 stars, 4.25. Check out the Goodreads down below. We'll also have that down there. But this one, Every Value Break, is about a woman named Abigail Baskin who had hooked up with another gentleman at her bachelorette party. And he kind of became like this weird, kind of stalkerish kind of guy. She still went through with the marriage. She got an email saying, hey, I might be in between where we both live is in this area. Let's meet up there if you're not serious about getting married. And she sent one back saying, I am serious. Leave me alone. But this had been like a few days after she thought she saw him inside of a diner. So the marriage happens, and at the wedding, she thinks she smells the same cigarette that he had smoked, and, the same brand, same, flavor, whatever. And she had gone, thinking, okay, well, he's at the wedding. Is he stalking me? And a whole bunch of stuff happens, and, a whole lot of mysterious things go on. This guy's like kind of popping up, and the husband seems kind of sketchy. And then you find out the big twist. And I'm not going to tell you what the twist is. This book was just released today, so obviously no spoilers. But it was a pretty decent twist, and I did enjoy it. Overall, I think I gave this 3.5, maybe 4 stars. Yes, 4 stars. I gave this 4 stars. It was a very good book. I highly recommend it. So there you have Every Value Break. The next book I'm going to talk about is Joyland by Stephen King. So this is his second hard case crime book that he wrote. The first one was The Colorado Kid, which I read that right after I'd read the uncut version of The Stand and Carrie, and I was very upset because that book was a bomb. I did not like it. I just, in leading into hard case crime stuff for him, I thought I was going to hate this one. I ended up reading later before I read this one, which that was his recent release. I actually gave that 5 stars. So Later got 5 stars. Colorado Kid got like 2. I think it was 2. And this one kind of falls right in between. This is about 3.5 stars. So this is about a kid named Devin who ends up leaving. His girlfriend ends up kind of cheating on him. And so he ends up taking this job at this fair called Joyland. And every now and again he dresses up as a mascot. He's pretty much a carny, is pretty much what he is. What ends up happening is there's a mysterious murder. I think it's a couple of murders that ends up taking place at the fairgrounds. And I want to say it happens in Horror House. And you go in there and, obviously it's like a house of horrors, like spooky things and crap like that. And somebody had taken some girls in there, lured them in there, and killed them. And one of the friends he has sees an apparition of the woman who, is the most famous one there at this fair that had died. And, You know, he doesn't like really talk that much about it. So a little bit of time passes, and that's the issue I had with the book. Is at some points, like, you'll read a couple chapters and it'll be like, well, now it's this time. And then you read a few more and say, well, now it's this time. And it kind of takes like weird time jumps, but it doesn't sound like the person ages. Like, he starts out like as like this teenager, and then by the end it sounds like he should be an adult, but I think he's only like 22, 23 at the end of the book. But when he's like writing this like memoir about his time at Joyland, he's like in his 60s or something like that. But overall, it's a very solid story. I enjoyed the hard case crime stuff, I'll say, besides Colorado Kid, which I'm planning to do a hard case crime like video where I discuss all three of them and kind of go more in depth about it. But I really think Joyland was kind of in between. It's kind of mediocre. So overall, with the hard case crime, probably about 3.5 stars between all three of them. So not too bad. Could have been better. But there you have Joyland. The third book that I finished recently is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. This was actually a book that I read a little while ago. We were planning to put it in a video, and I honestly just kind of lost track of the fact that I read it. So I'm featuring it in this video now. It's a book that I really enjoyed. I gave it 4 stars. It's about a London solicitor named Arthur Kipps, who goes to this haunted house of a woman who had just passed away to settle like the belongings and everything between relatives. And instead of staying somewhere else, he decides to stay in the house. Well, a bunch of scary shit starts happening, and he pretty much finds out that the house is haunted. He hears, children out in the fog, a rocking chair rocking, and this woman in black. Keeps seeing this woman in black. And the end was actually a pretty satisfying ending for me, and that kind of boosted it up to be a 4-star read. And the whole book kind of had some eeriness to it. I really enjoyed that. I've been on like a haunted house like spree lately, and I loved this a lot. Solid book. I don't know. It's just a really solid book. I think it was a movie with Daniel Radcliffe in it. I have not seen that though. But anyway, book was really solid. 4 stars. Enjoyed it. The Woman in Black. The last book I'm going to talk about is one that I did not finish. And what I mean by that is it wasn't that I ran out of time, it's I DNF'd it. I did not finish this book. And that is The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. So this was actually in my most anticipated reads for 2021, which you have not seen that video, that is up here. Check it out. I went into this with high hopes because it sounded creepy as hell. And by what I understand, it's about Alice. This is a filmmaker whose great-grandmother had vanished with this village, like in 1959, I think was the year. And the timelines is what made me DNF this book. So it's pretty much between then and now. So present day and I believe 1959. And I was getting thrown off completely with this book. I will say, when it comes to books that are like that, where it's then versus now, it's a little bit easier to read it more by hand. But when you're doing it by audiobook, if you lose track, it really derails you. I got to maybe the last 100 or so pages, maybe 75 pages. I couldn't finish it. I had no idea what was going on. I had gotten lost, and the timelines were confusing. There was a baby involved, was the last portion I remember hearing, and I don't know if that was in present day or in the past. So I couldn't finish this book. Maybe you'll enjoy it. I just unfortunately did not. So there you have The Lost Village. Alright guys, so these are my 4 recent reads. Overall, it was okay. A couple of bad ones. Well, one bad one I DNF'd, but the other 3 were actually pretty solid. So, overall, not so bad. What are some recent reads you've had recently? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to check out our Instagrams. Both of those will be linked down below. And also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for content like this. And we will see you guys in the next video. Later.